final day of the safari would take riders towards White Hills and east out to St Helens, then on to Bennelong Bay on the northeast coast of Tasmania. The route returned further north through Ledgerwood and Targa before arriving back in Launceston. Day 5 of the BMW GS Safari Tasmania, and we've just been riding along some sensational forest roads from Launceston to St Helens, and you know, we've just had a lunch stop at St Helens, and we're just going to head back now to Launceston for the farewell dinner, and it'll be over for another year. Gotta say that the BMW Safaris are absolutely sensational, and you know, if you've got a Beamer, you just have to do this ride. It's just absolutely fantastic.
Yes, this is my first safari. I've really enjoyed it. I haven't had much of experience with off-road before, but I've learned a tremendous amount this week. I recommend it to anyone.
Yeah, my name's John Walters. I'm from WA. It's my first GS Safari. I'm riding a 1200 Adventure. Had it only about sort of 6 months, so just getting used to it. But having a fabulous time and learning every day and having a really good ride. It's the best time, really good.
An alternative to lunch at St Helens was the pub in the paddock 28 kilometres into the return trip. So how's the trip been today?
Oh, it's been fantastic today. The weather's good, tracks are dry. Has been good. A nice lunch stop.
Like any of the previous days, eventually somebody had to crash. Fortunately, in this case, it wasn't a Beamer, as a GS would have done a lot more damage. The weather was starting to close in over the mountains, so it was time to gear up and head home. As we got higher into the mountains, the weather worsened, and Tassie gave us a final taste of its changeable weather, to the point where riders turned on their hazard lights and stopped to pull on their wet weather gear. We just went through some really foggy conditions and it started to rain, and the visibility was down to probably about 20 metres at best. And it was so incredibly foggy, I couldn't believe it. But only about 2 k's down the road, we come to this. Halfway into the return trip were the Ledgerwood memorial trees. The trees were planted in 1918 to honour soldiers killed during World War I. But 83 years later, a report showed that the trees were no longer safe to the community. So in 2004, it was suggested that the stumps be carved into the likeness of each soldier. A chainsaw carver was employed to sculpt the masterpieces that can be seen today. Just outside of Ledgerwood, the trail turned into the bush, but there was no mention of the slippery entrance to the trail that nearly caught you out.
To a state like this, there's no better way to see it than on a GS.
There was the traditional dinner at the end of the safari, and a prize giving to those who made a difference to their fellow riders over the past 5 days. A week on the road left some riders feeling a little emotional after experiencing 1,700 kilometres of some of the best adventure touring in Tasmania.
Anyway, enjoy your ride home, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
The tour deserved nothing less than a standing ovation, and what a week it had been.
2 days of pure riding in heavenly country. I mean, this country's made for motorcycling. We've been turning in the